My congratulations again to the Hirang class of the College of Medicine. When the name the name you have chosen, Hirang, was mentioned to me, immediately a text came into my mind, and I would like to make it as a basis of my challenge to you. The text is from 1 Peter 2, verse 9 and 10. 1 Peter 2, verse 9 and 10. It says here, you are a chosen people. In Tagalog, Hirang, chosen. That's the English translation of your name, the chosen ones. You, the chosen ones, are royal priests, a holy nation, God's own possession, very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for He called you out of the darkness into His wonderful light. Once you had no identity as a people. Now you are God's people. Once you received no mercy. Now you have received God's mercy. I just want to remind you, young brothers and sisters, Hirang, ang hinirang, those chosen by God, that if we look at this text carefully, it talks about identity. Many times we choose or we base our identity because we are chosen. And the identity is that we are chosen because we are better than others, we are more qualified, we know a lot of skills that they don't, we are very much needed, we are in demand. That could be the basis of your identity as physicians. But here, the basis of the identity is different. First, we are chosen by God as royal priests. And priests have a ministry. A holy nation, God's own possession. And what is the purpose that you had been called chosen? Why? What is the reason? The reason is that you have been called, chosen, Hirang, by God, so that you can show others the goodness of God. Not our own goodness, not your own goodness, but the goodness of God. For He called you out of darkness and into His marvelous light. And in verse 10 it says, our identity does not come from how good we are, or even from the work that we do, even though we are chosen by God. But in verse 10 it says, our identity comes from the fact that even though before we were not a people, we had no name. But because God has chosen us, once we did not experience mercy, now we have received mercy. That's why we can be called Hirang. You can be called Hirang, chosen. Let me repeat again the main points of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. Why are we chosen by God? Because we have been shown mercy. Do not forget that the main reason why you have been chosen, Hirang by God, is that you have received mercy. Your dean, in one of our conversations we had, she was referring to the term of Noen, of the wounded healer. You're a healer, but you have been chosen because even though you are wounded, you know what it means to be shown mercy. You know what it means to be healed. Therefore, you have been chosen by God to show mercy to others. Because before, you did not experience mercy. But God is good. You have experienced His mercy. Another reason why you have been chosen is that God has a purpose for you. You are royal priests. Are you aware that in the Old Testament, the order or the group of healers are from the tribe of Levi? They are priests. The instruction to God's people was, if you have been healed and you need healing, you go to a priest. Yes, you are physicians, but this text says you are chosen because you are priests. You stand before God's people because you represent God, and you have a ministry on behalf of God to give healing to people. You are royal priests. You are a holy nation, a group of people, and God owns you. You are God's possession. And as a result of your ministry, as a result of your identity, people will rejoice in the goodness of God. So, let me remind you, as Hirang, chosen, we are not chosen because of ourselves. We are chosen, you are chosen for a purpose, to show God's goodness. You have been chosen to bring healing as priest of God. You have been chosen to show that you have indeed received the mercy of God. May it be that in the rest of your life, in the years of your service as missionary physicians, you will always keep in mind why you have been chosen, Hirang, that you have a mission, you have an identity to live out, and God sends you today to the world. May you fulfill your mission as chosen, Hirang, by God.